All right, with that, it is now 8:30. I'm going to call to order the April 19th, 2021 meeting of the Michigan City Board of Public Works and Safety. Mayor Perry, Virginia Keating, and myself are all in attendance, and we do have a quorum. The first item on the agenda is the approval of minutes from the regular Zoom meeting of April 5th, 2021.
I'll move to approve.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and a support to approve the minutes of the April 5th Zoom meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We move on. Next on the agenda, opening of quotes. Michigan City Police Department, lease of 10 2021 Dodge Chargers, police pursuant package, 2-year term. Amber, you're up.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
So previously, this board approved a quote packet to send out for the lease of vehicles. Chief Cooney did send this out to 3 vendors. I am now opening our email, and it looks like we have received only one quote. It's from a Matthew Magnuson with LaPorte Chrysler Dodge Jeep in LaPorte, Indiana. And the quote form says the price for one vehicle leased for 2 years would be $9,000. The total price for 10 new vehicles leased for 2 years would be $90,000. Delivery date would be between 90 to 120 days after acceptance. Mileage allowed per year would be 15,000 miles.
Okay. Now, at this point, we received one bid. I believe it is now in your hands and in the police department's hands to investigate and make sure that everything is in order regarding that quote, correct?
Yes, if you could formally make a motion to refer it to my department and the police department for review and recommendation.
Okay, we will do that. We will make a motion to refer this quote to the legal department and the police department for review.
So I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Mr.
Aye.
President, I would like to comment, if I may, that when this first came up, I learned about it because the LaPorte Police Department does it. They've done it very well for several years. Going through that dealership that quoted us, I did stop at Michigan City's Chrysler to try to keep the business in town, and was very unhappy with the reception I got as far as what we brought to the table. A good deal from a municipality. So I just think this is, my opinion, is a pretty good deal.
All right. We did have a passage of that motion. Again, we will be awaiting Amber and the police department's advice regarding this quote. Moving on to our next item, we have a request for farmers market. Brother Sean Gray, CSC, St. Stanislaus Kostka Parish, is requesting approval to open the St. Stan's Parish of Michigan City, Indiana Farmers Market on Saturdays starting on May 1st, 2021 through October 2nd, 2021 from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Brother Sean, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
Good. And you?
And we're doing good. Tell us a little bit about what you got going on here.
Right now, I would need to have the approval so I can reach out to our vendors because we have a couple people who are our former vendors who are interested in joining us again. And so I thought this was the best thing to do, getting the approval. And then I, again, reach out to the vendors.
Very good.
So that was the reason
Okay, very
for
good.
that.
Ms. Keating, Mayor Perry, do either of you have any comments, questions, concerns?
I just like to make a comment that we've had this before us on many, many occasions, and I see no reason not to approve it.
And Mr. President, I want to make a comment that unfortunately we didn't get to do it because we were in a little bit of a bind. Eventually, I want to remove the no compete clause from the Michigan City Farmers Market because I think Michigan City is big enough. Just like we have now we have a farmers market on Thursday evenings down at the lakefront. I think we can handle St. Stan's Farmers Market. St. Stan's Las Casas has always been a good neighbor, and I think this is a good thing. I would fully support it. If Ms. Keating, did you make a motion?
I will make a motion to approve.
And I will support that motion.
Okay, we do have a motion and a support. I have no objection. All in favor, say aye.
Mr. President?
Yes, Mayor.
Before the vote, Councilman Prisbalinski raised his hand.
I'm sorry.
Comment?
Don,
Yeah,
please, yes.
Yeah, just a couple comments. Of course, I support the farmers market. I'm a member of St. Stan's, and not only for that, but for the sake that we're trying to grow activity in the Midtown area, and this here is a perfect summertime or early spring, summertime, early fall activity on the weekends in the Midtown area to bring people in there, to bring shoppers in that area, and also to make shoppers familiar with the other businesses that surround St. Stan's and what's in there. So we're always trying to develop growth and activity in that area, and I think that would be fantastic. And as any not-for-profit, St. Stan's, we can always use the activity, and we can always use the money, and that's what Brother Sean has been trying to do here for years. We've been successful before, kind of been, I don't know, put on the wayside for a little while, but St. Stan's is trying to make a comeback here, and we greatly appreciate your positive vote on this matter. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Prisbalinski. Appreciate the input. Gail?
Can we include this motion to make sure that we have the correct insurance from Brother Sean?
So yes, we need to make this contingent on
Well,
our receiving.
that would technically be for the next issue, for the license agreement.
All right.
All right. Okay, we are not adding the contingency for certificate of insurance. In regards to the request for the farmer's market, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you, Brother Sean. Hey, we're
Thank
coming
you.
right back to you. Give us 1 second here. Alley closure. Brother Sean Gray, CSC, St. Stanislaus Kostka Parish, is requesting approval for use of the city's alleyway that runs through the parking lot between Franklin Street and Pine Streets during the farmers market on Saturdays starting on May 1st, 2021 through October 2nd, 2021 from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Brother Sean, is this, you've utilized this alley during previous markets?
No, the way it's set up, it starts on Franklin and goes zigzag through the market. And so it needs to be closed during the time, or we would have, if anyone used it, they would be driving right through all our vendors. I don't know how it was set up. It was done many, many years ago. But every year when I request the farmer's market, we also request that the alleyway be closed during those hours.
Mayor Perry, Ms. Keating, any objections to this request?
None.
Just one question, Mr. President, for Brother Sean.
Yes.
Brother Sean, have you ever in this time that you've closed that alley had complaints? Are there any homes that back on that alley? Have you had any complaints from the residents?
No. It's a idle alley that was put up. Again, it's a zigzag. We've checked through. I think it's called Beacon. It's a satellite program or service, and you can see that it starts, goes up maybe halfway, goes across near the tennis courts, and then goes out past the tennis courts. So it's never used. Honestly, I don't know of anyone even know that it exists, but it does exist. But nobody uses it.
Okay. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
I have no issues with it, Mr. President.
No issues? Okay, very good. Can I entertain a motion?
I'll make that
Make a motion to, go ahead, Mayor.
Everybody's fighting for it. I like the initiative. Okay, we'll give the mayor the motion, Ms. Keating the second from San Diego.
And this would be
And-
subject to insurance.
Subject to insurance on this one. Okay. We do need to put on this one the contingency of the are receiving the certificate of insurance for the alley closure. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Brother Sean, thank you very much, sir.
No, thank you. And I will be working on that this morning so that the insurance is correct according to the city's request.
Very good. Thank you very much, Brother Sean. Be
Thanks
safe.
to,
Have a great day.
Dale and Amber, they've informed me on this, and I appreciate their support, all of their support. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, brother. Take care. Okay, next on the agenda, Farmers Market Agreement. Dee Haddad, Farmers Market Manager, is requesting approval of the Farmers Market Agreement between the City of Michigan City, Indiana, and Brett Stamper, Stamper Cheese Company. Dee, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Great.
Tell us a little bit about our first vendor here.
Well, he is he has been at the market before, which I believe all of the ones that we're going to look at today have been participating in the past. And so, especially last year, this year with COVID right now, I've talked to the health department. We don't have the same guidelines as we did last year as of now. So there's not a problem with people having samples or like cutting cheese in front of people, things like that, to where prior, like last year, people had to have everything contained and it was just a little bit different. Now going forward, that could change. Obviously, we know at any time. But Mr. Stamper has expressed interest that he wanted to be part of the market again.
Very good. Mayor Perry, Ms. Keating, any questions, comments, concerns?
None for me, Mr. President.
And none for me.
Okay. I will go ahead and make a motion to approve the agreement between the City of Michigan City and Mr. Brett Stamper and the Stamper Cheese Company.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and a support. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes. Farmers Market Agreement. Dee Haddad, Farmers Market Manager, is requesting approval of the Farmers Market Agreement between the City of Michigan City, Indiana, and Chris Giannini, G's Farmers Market. Dee, any additional information regarding Mr. Giannini?
Not really. Same, has been a previous vendor for a while and would like to continue this year.
Okay. Mayor or Ms. Keating?
Nothing.
Nothing?
None here, sir.
All right. With that, I will make a motion to approve.
Support.
We have a motion and support. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes. Farmers Market Agreement, D. Haddad, Farmers Market Manager, is requesting approval of the Farmers Market Agreement between the City of Michigan City, Indiana, and Martin and Becky Connor, Green Trail Farm. D, any information?
Same before, prior vendors, they have a flower farm out of LaPorte and would love to be part of the market again.
Okay. Mayor, Ms. Keating?
None here, sir.
Okay. With that, I will make a motion to approve the agreement between the City of Michigan City, Indiana, and Martin and Becky Connor, Green Trail Farm.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and a support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, D, you're almost done. Farmers Market Agreement. D. Haddad, Farmers Market Manager, is requesting approval of the Farmers Market Agreement between the City of Michigan City, Indiana, and Penny Vicini. Penny Vicini's. D, any information?
I think she's probably one of our longest supporters, 20 plus years she was talking about. She is, just bringing in a lot of floral until produce comes in. So that's all I got.
Okay. Mayor, Ms. Keating, questions, comments, concerns?
Nothing.
None here, sir.
I will make a motion to approve the agreement between the City of Michigan City, Indiana, and Penny Vicini, doing business as Penny Vicini's.
Second.
I have a second. Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Very good. D, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, next on the agenda, request for street closure. Jeremy Rossi, Uptown Social, 907 Franklin Street, is requesting approval of a 5K run walk starting on 9th to Pine Street, Pine to Franklin, over the bridge onto Lakeshore Drive to Fetters Drive, Fetters Drive to Marine Drive, and back to 9th Street on Saturday, July 29th, 2021 from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Mr. Rossi is in attendance. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me today. So just to clarify, July 29th is a Thursday.
It is a Thursday? Okay.
Yeah, it's a weekday. It's from 6 p.m. to 7:30, and the reason we did a little bit later is so we can get more participation, so people can get off work, go home, change, and come to the 5K. This was actually, the idea came from, there used to be a race called the Dingus Day Run. It occurred on, I think it was a Tuesday. And it occurred mostly in the, late afternoon, early evening. So that's how I got the idea for this type of event, having it on a weekday. And the idea is for after the race, everyone can come back to Uptown. We'll have a little portable bar set up in our courtyard, and people can come and hang out and enjoy themselves after the race. And the idea is obviously to bring more foot traffic to Michigan City, bring new people to the area. Not a whole lot of, races in Michigan City. They typically happen in Valpo and Chesterton and LaPorte. So I feel like it's time to bring something back to Michigan City. And I got the route idea from the Samaritan Skedaddle. So that's how I was able to figure out a good route. Also with the help of Captain Luneski, we were able to kind of fine tune it a bit. I did get the approval from the Parks Department at their meeting, and that I sent over. So I did have the route that's within the park approved. I also emailed Amber. I drove the route, and there are bike lanes that go up and down Pine, and sidewalks. So I don't necessarily think we need to close down Pine. I just think we need to have, volunteers pausing traffic as they're going down the street. So pausing it on 8th, 7th, 6th, 5th, 4th, Michigan Boulevard, Heisman Harbor, and the areas where the racers will cross from Lakeshore Drive onto Fetter. There'll be someone that's, needed there to pause traffic there. But In terms of an overall closure, I don't think it's actually necessary to do that.
Captain Lineski is in attendance. Good morning, Captain. Morning. Do you have any information, input that you'd like to make regarding this particular request?
As Mr. Rossi stated, we've been working for a couple months to come up with a route that was the least disruptive to the traffic. So we're going to be using Pine Street, the bike lane, which we don't anticipate having to close the whole road. We'll just be doing rolling closures. We've also worked with our emergency management volunteer organization, and Mr. Rossi's group is going to be making a donation to that group so that we can use their services to avoid overtime for the police department. So we should be able to accomplish this event without using very much overtime for the police department. So we would recommend approval of the request.
Very good. Mayor, Ms. Keating, any questions, comments, concerns?
No, I'm satisfied with what I've heard.
I love the detail that we've gone to. Captain Lineski, Mr. Rossi, that's great. I think it's great. I'll make that motion if it hasn't been made yet.
Real quick, I believe Amber has a comment to make. Real quick.
I do. The way the policy is written, it actually expires on the date of the event. So we'll need an updated certificate of insurance 30 days before the event. So if you could just make the approval subject to getting an updated certificate of insurance.
Yes, and okay. I did mark it on my calendar. I won't forget, I promise.
Right. Very good. Very good. We will do that. Mayor has made a motion. We're going to add the contingency that we need the updated paperwork, accounting for the certificate of insurance, accounting for the date of the event.
Exactly.
With that, we will take a vote. All in favor of the request for street closures, which basically the approval of the 5K walk run to Uptown Social. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you, Mr. Rossi. Good luck with the event.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a good day.
Okay, we move on. Vendor license. Ron Landtroop, owner of A Slice of Heaven, is requesting the renewal of his mobile food vendor license to be located at Brandt's Old Fashioned Feed and Pet Store, 309 West Michigan Boulevard. Do not see Mr. Landtroop in attendance today. I understand that Mr. Landtroop has been out there for a few years now, I believe. Mayor, Ms. Keating, do either of you have any concerns?
I do not.
Well, the only comment I'd like to make, Mr. President, is last year there was a short delay in Mr. Landtroop having his vendor's license renewed because he seems to have a habit, I've checked, of waiting till well into the 11th hour to try to do this. His paperwork is always impeccable. There are no issues with his paperwork. He's just not extremely timely in the submittal of it. So I'm curious as to when the current permit expires and how close he is to the deadline this time.
Gail, can you give me that information quicker than I can look it up here?
I think she's looking, Mr. President.
Okay.
I think it's like soon. I know it's soon. It's this month. So you are correct, Mayor. But he is always very accurate with what he has to turn in.
So, okay, so we need to approve that now so that there is no break in the periods. Okay, that's great. This time he's on time. I'll make a motion to approve, Mr. President.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, we do have a motion and a second for approval of renewal of a mobile food vendor license to A Slice of Heaven and Ron Landtroop. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes.
That one first.
Right. Next up on the agenda, a memorandum of understanding. Shannon Eason, representing the Michigan City Public Art Committee, is requesting approval of the memorandum of understanding between artists and Michigan City Public Art Committee for the display of artwork on city-owned property, Ray Katz Galaxy, located on the northwest corner of 8th Street and Michigan Boulevard, in the total sum of $3,000. Shannon, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. So this is part of our rotating sculpture exhibit called Sculpt Fusion. We rotate pieces in and out of the art district every year. And just for clarity, the MOU lease payment is $3,000, but that's paid in 2 installments. So $1,500 this year and $1,500 out of next year's budget.
Okay. Amber, you've looked at the paperwork. Everything is in order?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Mr. President?
Yes, Mayor.
I have a question for Ms. LePage Stallbrink, if I may.
Sure.
Amber, is this just one MOU or is this 4 individuals? Because if it's just one and it's listed for each item, I was going to request that we take a vote for expediency on all 4 of them.
There are 4 separate requests, Mayor. So this is just one of 4.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Keating, no objections?
No.
Okay. Do we have a motion? I'm sorry.
Motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, very good. We have a motion and a second. In the matter of Ray Katz, Galaxy, and the Michigan City Public Art Committee memorandum of understanding, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, we move on. Memorandum of understanding, Shannon Eason, representing the Michigan City Public Art Committee, is requesting approval of the memorandum of understanding between artists and Michigan City Public Art Committee for the display of artwork on city-owned property, Fisher Stoll's Clairvoyance, located in the northwest corner of Michigan Boulevard and US Highway 12, in the total sum of $3,000. Shannon, anything we need to know about this one?
No.
Okay, Mayor, Ms. Keating, any questions?
No.
Sir.
All right, with that, I will go ahead and make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between the Michigan City Public Art Committee and the artist Fisher Stoll's for the piece Clairvoyance. All in favor say, or excuse me, I made a motion, Ms. Keating made a second. We will take a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, we move on to the third, memorandum of understanding. Shannon Eason, representing the Michigan City Public Art Committee, is requesting approval of the memorandum of understanding between artists and Michigan City Public Art Committee for the display of artwork on city-owned property, Ray Katz Sentinel, located on the southwest corner of 6th and Franklin Streets, the total sum of $3,000. Shannon, anything?
Just one comment on this. The art committee met last week, and we think a better location for this piece is the southwest corner of 5th and Franklin in front of Horizon Bank. The piece that's out there currently will be removed towards the end of June. So we'd just like to make that adjustment to the contract.
Okay. Mayor, Ms. Keating, any questions, comments, concerns?
None.
None whatsoever. I respect the park department's evaluation of this.
Okay, so what we will do is we are going to make an amendment for this to be on the southwest corner of 5th and Franklin, correct, Shannon?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Memorandum of understanding between the Michigan City Public Art Committee and the artist Ray Katz for Sentinel on the southwest corner of 5th and Franklin Streets. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Shannon, will you get the artist to sign a new contract and get that to the clerk's office then?
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay. And the final Memorandum of Understanding, Shannon Eason, representing the Michigan City Public Art Committee, is requesting approval of the Memorandum of Understanding between artist and Michigan City Public Art Committee for the display of artwork on city-owned property, Ruth Migdal Ascending, located at Pullman Park on the corner of Willard Avenue and US Highway 12, the total sum of $3,000. Shannon, anything on this one?
No, thank you.
No. Ms. Keating, Mayor Perry, any questions, comments, concerns?
No.
None here, sir.
Okay. With that, Amber, and everything good with the paperwork on this one?
Yes.
Okay. All right, with that, I will make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between the Michigan City Public Art Committee and artist Ruth Migdal for the piece Ascending, to be located at Pullman Park on the corner of Willard Ave and US Highway 12. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. I'll support that motion.
Oh, excuse me. I made the motion, support from the
I'll second it.
mayor.
Yes, sir.
Now we move on to the vote. I'm always getting ahead of myself on a Monday morning. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And that is a passage. Okay, Shannon, thank you very much for
Thank you.
those. All right, extension of physical fitness testing. Josh Allen, Michigan City Fire Department, is requesting extension of time for his physical fitness testing due to being on restricted duty. Mayor, Ms. Keating, any objections?
None.
I'm just curious. I have a question for the chief. I believe he's with us. Is this due to I hope the injury or whatever it is not significant, that it's going to cause a
Mayor, due to HIPAA concerns, we can't discuss specific injuries in a public meeting.
Okay, no questions.
Okay. I will make a motion to approve the extension of time for Mr. Josh Allen to complete his physical fitness testing with the Michigan City Fire Department.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We move on. Extension of physical fitness testing. Alan Craybaum, Michigan City Fire Department, is requesting an extension of time for his physical fitness testing due to being on restricted duty. Mayor, Ms. Keating?
No questions here.
Chief, you are here this morning. Any objections to this?
No objections.
No objections? Okay. With that, I will make a motion to approve the request for extension of time for Alan Craybaum to complete his physical fitness testing with the Michigan City Fire Department.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and a support. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. We move on. Correspondence for informational purposes only. Correspondence was received in the clerk's office on April 7th, 2021 from Jeff Wright, city engineer, regarding project updates. Again, that is for informational purposes only. Move on to the claims docket for April 19th, 2021. Listing municipal claims in the amount of $1,116,500.84. Community Development Block Grant monies of $56,889.14. Health Life in the amount of $117,300.78. Workers' Comp, $23,469.21 for total claims of $1,314,159.97.
I'll make a motion to approve the claims based on the stated amount of $1,314,159.97.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and support. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes. Payroll docket, April 9th, 2021. City payroll in the amount of $527,241.38. and the April 1st, 2021 city pension of $214,660.23. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of approval of the payroll docket, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, we move on to the unfinished business, the pending items list. First item on the agenda, David Hart's 160 Turner Court is requesting a stop sign at the end of his driveway on Turner Court. This request was approved at the last meeting. They are also placing a dead end sign at the end of the hill on Turner Court. This item is on the pending items list until it is installed. I know that Jeff is not here. Do we have anybody that knows whether that particular sign was installed for Mr. Hart's?
No, I do not.
Okay. Given that we do not have confirmation that that sign is up, I will move to leave this on the unfinished business list. And we will revisit it at the next meeting. Moving on to the next item, Ian Osborne, 230 Walker Street is requesting a stop sign on Walker Street and a speed limit sign and slow children playing signs. The board approved a stop sign and speed limit on Walker Street. Placement is being determined by the city engineer and central services. This will stay on the pending items list until the placement of the signs. This one, I do believe that we did receive an email confirming that these signs were placed. Has this been fulfilled to your approval, Mayor?
I saw no email that these signs were installed. Captain Lineski is with us. Any comment from Captain Lineski would certainly be welcome here.
Yes, I drove out there last week and the signs for the stop signs have been installed, and I believe the speed limit sign has been installed too.
Yeah, and I know that one of the things we also asked for on this one is that we would have a traffic study done on this particular intersection. I do believe that, so the approval had been for stop signs to be placed on Walker Street, and it appears that it was actually turned into a four-way stop at that intersection.
Yes, originally it was a two-way stop, and now it's a four-way stop. I would add that due to some miscommunication between the street department and engineer's office, that a four-way or a three-way stop was actually installed at the intersection of the Case and Walker 2. Those were only out there for a day before we realized the mistake and they were removed.
Oh, can I please say something?
Yes, is that Cranston? No. Who's speaking?
Mr. Osborne, I think.
Yes,
Mr. Osborne. Yes.
Yes, the two stop signs at Case that were put at Case and Walker for that three-way were actually removed in the middle of the night. They were bent over, jerked down to the ground, and unbolted from the stop sign posts in the middle of the night. Then the city came, we called the city, and they came back the next day. They came the very next day and said that now there's some discrepancy over whether or not they were approved for that corner anyway, but those signs were in fact removed in the middle of the night.
Okay.
And now everybody's cruising those stop signs like they're not even there. So some people are clearly angry here.
Okay. Well, obviously we have a traffic study that is going to be taking place on this one. Again, we did our due diligence to try and alleviate the situation. And again, it is a matter of trying to get the point across to individuals that they cannot do that.
Actually, if I could comment a minute.
Yes, Captain.
As far as the traffic study goes, when I do a traffic study, I look at several factors. First would be a history of crashes at that intersection. So we study all the crash reports that have been taken at that intersection. I did have an opportunity to review those crashes for the last 5 years. According to our records, there have been no crashes at that intersection within the last 5 years. When we look at this kind of situation, we use the manual on uniform traffic control devices as our guide for installing signs. There's 3 factors, and if you have a minute, I can read them to you just to educate the board here. When we look at this, there should be 3 factors that would initiate the installation of a four-way stop at an intersection. Number 1 would be the combined vehicular, bicycle, and pedestrian volume entering the intersection from all approaches averages more than 2,000 units per day. Or number 2, the ability to see conflicting traffic on an approach is not sufficient to allow a road user to stop or yield in compliance with the normal right-of-way. Or number 3, crash records indicate that 5 or more crashes that involve the failure to yield right-of-way at the intersection under normal right-of-way conditions have been reported within the 3-year period. And so that's what we've done for the last 14 years that I've been reporting to the Board of Works. And although the manual on uniform traffic control devices isn't law, it's a guide that every jurisdiction within the United States uses to as guidance. And so there have been times that we've deviated from this. However, as a matter of rule, I think we should follow those rules from this point on, because in the past we have had probably dozens of citizens come to this board requesting four-way stops at different intersections throughout the city that we've denied, because those are the rules that we followed for the last at least 14 years. And if we don't adhere to those rules, it kind of looks like certain people are being treated unfairly when they come to the Board of Works and their stop sign is denied. So I would just caution the board that we probably need to follow that from this point forward, and that as far as a traffic study at that particular intersection, like I say, I did pull the traffic stats for crashes. However, counting traffic volume and recording speed at this point would really be useless, because the sign's already been installed, and once you install a stop sign, you really can't remove it.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Captain Lanaski, for that information. And it is noted that going forward, we need to take that into consideration. I believe that in the last meeting, Mr. Wright, who obviously has much more experience in this than I do, indicated that he felt that there was a reasonable expectation that that would be okay to do at that time. I do not, I still don't have any opposition with it. Again, this was a situation where I believe that had we agreed to the case study, and during that time, you know, if there's been documented issues, and we even had Miss Tatanisha Clark, you know, testify that there was a lot of traffic in that area that's just, it's dangerous. And I wanted to make sure that we did something to accommodate that. I understand that some individuals have said that that was not the right thing to do. I believe that we addressed the situation in this particular situation. I understand that we do not want to create the illusion that we are making decisions for certain groups and not other groups. And I do appreciate that information that you gave and that knowledge you bestowed upon us.
Could I say
Mr.
one?
President?
Yes, Don Frisblinski.
Yeah. And I would like to, since you brought that up, I would like to address that. And what I'd like to address is, and the board made the decision to put the stop sign up, and you know that was your decision, and I know it was done without a traffic study, and I have talked to the mayor about this and gave him my opinion on it. That I know that I, as a councilman living right here on Gardena Street for 30 some years, and with the amount of traffic, that comes off Franklin Street, and the amount of traffic that comes off Tilden Ave, and the amount of traffic that's used on Gardena, because you're going to the second largest park in the city day in and day out, that the neighbors here have requested a stop sign on the corner of Maple and Gardena, and was denied that with the same fact that, as Captain Lineski was alluding to, they did a traffic study. The numbers didn't equate apparently to what the traffic studies by the state or the county are set up for, but yet we granted this stop sign and other signs at a meeting without even getting any evidence whether this was factual or not, with the numbers from the police department. And I don't know, I just feel, that it was unfair to the neighbors in the neighborhood over here that were requesting a stop sign. And, in another part of town, and I don't know what the defense was or what the people were saying, but there's traffic that goes up and down all the streets. There's people that speed up and down the streets day in and day out. Any street you want to pick, people are speeding. So the fact of the matter is, if we're going to do it for one group or for one street, we should do it for all the streets. And it sounds to me like this is just going to be passed on now because it's too late. Well, if that's the fact, then what I would like to do is to get that stop sign installed on the corner of Maple and Gardena Street and get the same fair treatment as the residents over in that neighborhood got, that the neighbors should get on Gardena and Maple Street. You have the same amount. I mean, we had, in fact, because I went and drove the area, the distance of not having a stop sign is actually longer from Tilden to Franklin Street than it is from, I think that's Springland Ave, going down to 8th Street. So the travel distance is longer. There's more houses telling you that the population is more dense on Gardena Street, and the traffic, people speeding, is a lot. And I guess one of the arguments was, well, people are coming off 8th Street and they're using Walker Street as a thoroughfare. Well, the same thing happens from Franklin Street. People coming off Franklin, the most traveled street in the city, they're coming off Franklin, going down Gardena, either going to Tilden Ave or going all the way down to Gardena Playground so their kids can play. So I'm just saying that I know you made the decision. I don't agree with the decision, but then consideration needs to be looked at again for this stop sign here at Maple and Gardena Street and install it and be done with, the question of what's going on here.
Can I please do something in response to you, Mr. Prespolinski?
Sure.
I will give the floor to Mr. Osborne.
Thank you. I understand, and I feel the same way, similar circumstances, different neighborhood. We literally, I don't know if you saw the petition, but a petition went around the neighborhood here for 3 blocks one way and 3 blocks the other way, and everybody was into it. So that may have happened in your neighborhood as well. And like I said, I can understand. So my argument with the traffic study is that if everybody over here, the neighborhood that we live in, unanimously wants it, and we're willing to pay for it, despite the availability of funds from taxpayer money, we understand that. If we live here and there's no logistical reason to stop the use of a stop sign at that intersection, then what would be the holdup? Because we live here. So do you understand what I'm saying?
Mr. Osborne, I understand what you're saying, and the board granted your request. What I'm asking for is to get the same consideration over here on Gardena Street in another part of town as the same consideration you got without the fact of a traffic study that had to be done and having Captain Lineski coming back to the board to say yay or nay. And that's all I'm asking for, is to give us the same consideration and to put that stop sign in and be done with it. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But I appreciate your opinion and, you know, the work that you did to get that stop sign in. I have no problem whatsoever with that. I'm just expressing my opinion of why it happens one way on one part of town, and then in another part of town, the residents do not get the same consideration. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Prisblinski.
Hello?
Yes,
Hello.
Who's speaking?
This is Councilman Paul Prisblinski.
Good morning, Councilman Paul Prisblinski.
Good morning. I want to weigh in on the fact that what Councilman Don Prisblinski was talking about here on this Gardena and Maple stop sign. I believe the residents do want it. And as Councilman Prisblinski has talked about, is the traffic load on that street. Well, the people that know Michigan City are using that street as one of the main intersectors to get in and out of their neighborhood instead of going down Cool Spring Avenue. So if we want to compare apples with oranges, we need to start looking at what these neighborhoods need to keep control of the flow of traffic, because we need to be proactive. The South Shore, through this South Shore project, is going to shut down a lot of the streets going north and south, and that's going to put a lot of traffic into the neighborhoods. So I guess if we're always going to fall back on a traffic study, we won't get too far at the pace we're going to make the neighborhood safer. So I want to reiterate in the facts being that the resistance that was given to getting a stop sign placed on Washington Street by St. Stan's School back in the 90s. There were a couple people that resisted it, but the majority of people wanted it, especially the people that had their children going to St. Stan's. Finally, the stop sign was put in, but with bringing the facts to the Board of Works that it was the only school in town that didn't have stops on all four corners. So we had to go through a big, I guess the same thing that we're going through here on Gardena Ave, but I don't think people should have to go through that. I really don't. Now, if you're talking about an intersector like Barker Ave, Franklin Street, Ohio Street, well, that is a long thoroughfare without a stop in it. And I believe that that'll help the neighborhood and it'll help the traffic flow in the city by putting a stop sign in there. Thank you.
Okay, any other members of the public that wish to make comments regarding this instance at this time?
This is Tommy Kolovic from 1316 Ohio Street, and I want to express my gratitude to the board for making the intersection of Tryon and Walker a four-way stop. My mother used to own the house on the southeast corner at 301 Tryon Street, and it was extremely bad there. We bought the house from my niece. She decided to move away. I fixed it up, rehabbed it. We sold it in 2018. That's in the Eastport neighborhood. Eastport is the most densely populated section of the city, and it's also traditionally the most neglected, overlooked, and forgotten about section of the city. It's also the most crime-ridden. I hate to bring this up, but the home across the street would be the southwest corner at 301 Walker Street. That's the home where Mr. Jerry Peters was murdered back in 2011. All the veteran police officers said that was the worst case they ever had to investigate.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Tommy. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, any other members of the public? Mayor Perry, Ms. Keating, do either of you have anything to say in regards to this?
Yeah, I just want to clarify that the decision to place those stop signs was based on the recommendation of our city engineer. We did not do it willy-nilly. We did it upon that recommendation.
Thank you, Ms. Keating. Mayor?
Mr. President, I have just one question, and it's based on Mr. Osborne's comment that a traffic control sign was taken down in the middle of the night. And this is for the clarification of the public. If Captain Linesk, if you're still here with us, can you tell us what the penalty is, what violation that person would be facing if they were caught taking down a traffic control sign in the middle of the night, or just any time taking down an approved traffic control sign?
It would be a theft charge, Class A misdemeanor.
Thank you, Captain. I have nothing else, Mr. President.
Okay. With that, I want to thank Councilman Don Przybylski, Councilman Paul Przybylski, and Mr. Osborne and Mr. Kolovic for giving us your thoughts. And this is one of those, this is where public city government is done best, is when we get input from several parties. I understand both parties or both sides of the issue and where you're coming from. I am 5 months into this position. I need a chance to be able to learn with this. I echo Ms. Keating's sentiment that this was done under the advisement of our city engineer. So this was not done in a haphazard manner to where we were just interested in fulfilling the requests of one particular group. There was evidence presented. Namely, I think the thing that probably hit home the most for me is the amount of signatures that they collected. And this is an instance where this is a neighborhood saying that we believe that this is in our best interest. Now, I completely understand that we are in a situation where there are groups, areas that have been told that they can't have something in the past. And I of all people, am very sensitive to that particular issue. Councilman Don Przybylski, I would encourage you for the intersection that you have requested, if you can get signatures to the extent that Mr. Osborne did, I would invite you to present that information and bring it back to the Board of Works. I cannot guarantee and say that we will, but I believe that would be the best course of action for the area that you are concerned about right now. I don't know if there's a statute of limitations between a previous request for a stop sign and another request for a stop sign. I don't know if there's been any incidents since then that would potentially give a different response to the traffic study. I don't know that information. What I can say is I would encourage you to follow up with it again, and any other individual that wants to, present the board with an argument that a stop sign or any other type of traffic sign should be placed in their neighborhood. I want to be able to trust the individuals that live in a neighborhood and address their concerns. I think a lot of times we feel that we have people that are unheard. I want them to be heard. I want them to present their cases in front of the Board of Works. I can't always guarantee that they're going to get the answer that they like. As an example, I live close to the intersection of Warnke Road and Michigan Boulevard. There is a set of railroad tracks that the Northern Indiana Commuter Transit District operates freight trains on. I believe that most individuals involved on this call know where this intersection is. There's a stop sign at the railroad crossing. If we are to do a traffic study and find out how many people actually stop at that stop sign, the percentage would be very, very low. And I have often asked what are alternatives to this, because basically on any given day, you can sit there and watch, I would say about 7 out of 10 cars completely disregard that stop sign. And I have long believed that it is a situation where it could be disaster waiting to happen. It hasn't happened yet, fortunately, but there are reasons why it has to be a stop sign instead of a yield sign. And there are reasons why they are not willing to put in lights and flashers there. Again, it is an instance that I, in my own personal practical life, in a perfect world, I would prefer that to not be a stop sign. But I've never taken the initiative to come to the Board of Works and have that particular instance studied. The best advice I can do is, if you are wanting a stop sign or any other type of sign in your neighborhood, go through the proper channels, contact Gail at the clerk's office, get the documentation that's needed to be filled out, and bring it in front of the board. And again, I thank everybody for their input on this, and I do truly and sincerely understand and appreciate everyone's argument. With that, Mayor, you did not receive the email that indicated that the stop sign had been put up at Walker and Tryon?
I don't recall getting it, but it's a possibility that I.
Okay, Virginia, do you recall having gotten it?
Yes.
Yes.
If Virginia got it, then I got it, probably.
Okay. Okay, with that, in regards to this item, Ms. Keating and I both received the email with proof. Actually, I believe it's actually in the packet too, that the stop signs have been posted. I'm going to make a motion to remove this from the pending items list.
Support.
Mr. President?
Yes, Mayor.
Before you do that, Mr. Harris's symbol popped up several times. He may have a comment. Mr. Cranston Harris.
Cranston, do you have any comments? I'm sorry, sir.
Not a problem. Two things. One, I wanted to get a hold of Mr. Osborne before he left to make sure that those signs are put up properly, or if we need to come back and do maintenance on them, because I wasn't aware of putting them up there either. And second thing, just to go along with Don, I'm his next door neighbor. And in that area, he is correct about that. But my issue is on our block from Oak Street going west to Franklin Street, there's not many kids. But going east from Oak Street to Tilden, there are at least 5 houses with kids. The parking is allowed on the north side in our block to Oak Street, and then it switches to the other side halfway down before it gets to Tilden, where cars are parked on the south side of the street. And I have personally seen kids come between those cars, and it just frightens the devil out of me when I see them do it. And, I agree with Don, and I understand where he's coming from, but that would be my issue for trying to get a stop sign there, because they get wound up off Tilden going west, and they have come through there, I bet you 50 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. And all it takes is one car. That's all it takes, or one kid to get
petition, I'll walk the neighborhood. This is what these.
So that's my issue. But if those, I just want to know, Captain Lineski, is those signs up and looking good, or do I need to get Street 8 out there?
No, the signs that Tryon and Walker are fine. The ones that Case and Walker are the ones that were removed.
You need to put back up?
No, those were taken down because they weren't originally approved by the board. They were put up by mistake.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. All right, that's all I had.
Thank you very much, Cranston. Thank you, sir. All right. With that, on this particular item, I do make a motion to remove this from the pending items list.
And I second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We move on. Next item. Kathy Rogers, Black Book Connections, 18735 Parkview Drive, New Buffalo, is requesting an open-air farmers artisan market at the marina. This request was referred to the Park Department, Police, and Fire Department and the Port Authority for review and recommendations at the next Board of Works meeting, which is today, Monday, April 19th. Good morning, Ms. Rogers.
Good morning, President. How are you?
I'm okay. All right. I know that we have Tim Frame from the Port Authority. Do we still have Shannon in here? I think Shannon might have logged off after the art, but we do have Captain Lonieski and Chief Legault. Let's start with Mr. Frame.
Mr. President, may I start first, please?
Sure.
Thank you. Ms. Rogers, I just have a quick question for you. Your business, Black Book Connection LLC, what state is that incorporated under?
Indiana.
Are you aware that that company has been administratively dissolved by the state of Indiana?
No, I'm not aware of that.
Okay, so I looked up on the Secretary of State's website, and the company was administratively dissolved in 2013. So as of right now, the business is non-existent in the eyes of the state.
Okay.
So therefore, I don't believe this board could grant any kind of license to an entity that doesn't exist. That doesn't mean you can't cure it, but just for the time being, we just don't have the legal authority.
No, I understand that.
Yeah, and then the other thing I just wanted to mention is I spent some time late Friday afternoon speaking with Port Authority's attorney as well, and they are aware of this issue, and they're researching a few other things as well. And they wanted to get back with you as to yes or no, whether or not the market is truly going to happen on Port Authority's property. So before the Board of Works would grant any type of license, I would first defer this back to the Port Authority to make any determination first if they're truly going to allow this event on their property. And if so, I believe it's critical that that be reduced to a written agreement so that we would have a copy of the same. Because of the close proximity with the Park Department, for liability purposes, I wanted to clearly define what area would be under whose control, and other things such as, trash pickup, garbage pickup, to see if we would need to require any type of bond as well through this board. So at this time, I don't believe the board can grant that request.
Yeah.
Okay, Amber, let me ask this. With the status we're in now, as long as we have Mr. Frame here, and I believe there's possibility that he might be getting further information that we would be asking for eventually, is this the proper time to ask them to contribute their thoughts, or should we potentially put this off again?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously you're gonna have to put it off because you can't grant something to a legal entity that doesn't exist.
Right.
So there's nothing that you can do today to grant this, but I see what you're saying is do you want to, in the event it would be granted, talk about it?
Do you
I don't know if it
do you
makes-
have any advice as to what would be best? Because obviously I know that Tim has been here patiently waiting at our request through the meeting. Captain
If Tim has anything valuable to offer, absolutely, Tim is more than welcome to.
I mean, just because, Tim, I know that you aren't necessarily a regular at the Board of Works meetings, at least, and I can't blame you. I appreciate the fact that you have been here and waiting very patiently to answer any questions that we might have. Is there any information that you would want to give us at this time, or would you be okay waiting until a future meeting?
We can wait till a future meeting.
Okay, very good. Again, I thank you very much for coming to the meeting at our request, and I really appreciate you taking the time to be here.
You're welcome.
Okay, and Captain Lineski and Chief Legault, we will go ahead and address this at another meeting once we get everything taken care of. Thank you. Amber, thank you very much. Ms. Rogers, thank you very much for coming in again.
I'll find out what's going on. I
Okay.
have no idea, but
Okay.
thank you, Amber, for bringing that up to my attention.
Okay.
I will,
All right.
I will take care of that immediately.
All right, very good. Again, thank you for being in attendance.
I appreciate it.
All right. We will go ahead and leave this on the pending items list. Next item on the agenda, Paul Przyblinski, concern over old hanging poles, wires that belong to NIPSCO or Comcast that need to be removed from city right-of-way. Mayor Perry and Jeff Wright, city engineer, have been in contact with NIPSCO and Comcast, and the last time that we addressed this, I want to say it was 2 meetings ago. We put it off to revisit at this meeting on April 19th, 2021. I know that Mr. Wright was unfortunately unable to be with us this morning due to a prior obligation. Mayor, have you had any further communication with NIPSCO or Comcast?
No, I have not, Mr. President, but this has been on here a long time, and I feel bad that we have not been able to resolve it. I think what I'm going to do is the same thing that I did when I had a request to clean up Holiday Street right along the Nickty tracks going into the Carroll Ave yard. I called Nickty several times, had no other choice, was given no other choice than to leave a voicemail. So I think I'm going to go to the extreme on this and drive over to NiSource's headquarters in Maryville and ask for an in-person meeting to address this, because we just do not, NIPSCO is too big and it's too nebulous trying to negotiate your way around there to get to somebody that is going to actually make it an action item for them. So I'll report at the next meeting how successful or unsuccessful I am requesting an in-person meeting about this.
Okay, Mayor, thank you very much for taking that initiative to do that. It is greatly appreciated, and we will leave that. We will leave that on the pending items list.
Ken talking to
Did I hear anybody else? No? Okay. Final item on the pending items list, James Taylor requesting roadway access on Huron Ave would also like a streetlight installed. The clerk's office, excuse me, this is supposed to be revisited at the May 3rd meeting. Disregard what I just said. Okay, that completes the unfinished business and pending items list. Is there anyone from the public that wishes to address the board at this time?
Yes, I would, if I may.
Councilman Paul Przybylski.
Mr. President.
Yes.
This is Paul Przybylski.
Yes, sir.
I was wondering, I missed a portion of what you're talking about. Were you guys talking about, I'm sorry, was the board speaking to the issue of telephone poles being in an abstract, not being removed when other poles are being put in? Or were you talking about the situation going on downtown with people, with a contractor for NICDEP, or I don't know if it's NIPSCO, putting in poles and closing down streets and not contacting anyone? Or was it about the poles not being removed where new poles were put in?
I believe it is that case. Mayor, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is.
Mr. President, we were talking about the old poles that were left in place when new poles were put in alongside.
Well, the situation is that Comcast is leaving their wires up and not moving their wires. And I don't think NIPSCO has any jurisdiction over Comcast. And that is the issue why I believe they're not being removed. But if the mayor wants to drive over there, I think that maybe it would be more efficient to call the Utility Regulatory Commission representative and find out what can be done dealing with Comcast. But speaking, what I did want to get into is the situation downtown with all these huge poles being put in. And I would like to know if those plans were ever discussed or brought to the board on what they were going to do down there, because I believe that they're just doing, it's really looking very nasty on what they've done. And all the way down A Street. And I believe that they put some of the, I think it's like a 12-sided pole up, and in some in on Wabash Street, I believe it borderlines on causing a visibility problem on the intersection. But did they come to the board with their plan and say what they were going to do and how it was going to affect the downtown area? Because to me, it really, really is unsightly. And the poles that they put in, the type of steel they use, I understand what it is. It's a rust component, but that seals itself, or supposed to seal itself. But I was wondering why they didn't put in some poles as they did on Ohio Street to let it at least more aesthetic. Did they ever come to the board with a plan or to the city engineer with a plan on street closings and what they were going to do? I guess that's the initial question.
Okay. I believe what we're going to do, I know the mayor has left the screen right now. Two individuals that are unfortunately not at today's meeting that I would actually like to have input from are Skylar and Jeff Wright. And as I indicated, both of them were unable to be at today's meeting. What I want to do is I'm going to continue public comment. And then I think that during the board, potentially I can ask Mayor Perry to let us know what he might know regarding the situation, and also any other board members.
Mr. President, I don't have a problem.
I guess my final input is that I believe by state law, the city engineer could red tag them till you get an answer. So I think somebody needs to do something. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Councilman Paul Przybylski. Mayor, did you want to make a comment?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I do. Thank you. I'm going to start with NiSource going to the federal regulatory commission that Mr. Przybylski suggested may be a more nebulous, frustrating operation NiSource. But what I would like to do at this stage, I see it. We have Ms. Nicole Barker in attendance for the meeting. I would appreciate some input from her, because it's my understanding that we were supposed to have an individual here at our meeting today to discuss this activity, because it has caused a lot of unhappiness and a lot of complaints within Michigan City. And it's my understanding that this is all related to the double tracking that's going on. Ms. Barker, would you join us, please?
Absolutely. Thanks, Mayor Perry. Good morning, everyone. Jackie Thomas is also on this call. She is the NIPSCO representative who can provide you with information about any of their advanced work that's happening separate from the double track project to get utilities out of the way. But before I hand it to her, I will say I know that Skylar is in the loop definitely on the plans for the relocations. And Jackie is relatively new, so she may not have the history, but she can certainly get you whatever information on NIPSCO's early utility relocation has occurred or will be occurring. But let me clarify really quickly. So for the 26-mile corridor for double track, there are various utilities. Comcast is one. NIPSCO's the biggest one that need to get out of our way before the double track official project can start construction. So all these early utility activities are technically related to or caused by the double track project, but they're not planned or part of the double track project, if that makes sense. Comcast, as an example, basically they're co-located in many places with NIPSCO. And so Comcast is really trying to follow NIPSCO's plan on how and when they're moving so they can potentially marry up with them in a new location. So I will let them, I'm going to send over, I have Comcast's latest plans. I think they're going to make a change on 10th Street. But Brianna Evans of our team is a really good person she's our main utility coordinator. She's kind of keeping ahead of all the projects that are happening separately in advance. So she also can be a resource, and I'll send an email and copy her on it so everyone has her information. But with that, Jackie, did you want to just jump in? I know that the recent activity over by the fire department was actually totally unrelated to double track entirely. So go ahead.
Hi, thank you, Nicole. As Nicole said, my name is Jackie Thomas. I am with Public Affairs for the Double Track Project. So I can confirm that the work on Friday at the corner of, I want to say 11th and, Michigan Boulevard and Carroll Street was in regard to some very last minute emergency work So I also would like to add our project manager for the electrical side of this project, where people do see poles being moved, as well as our project manager with our gas team for this double track project, does have a meeting later today to discuss processes and procedures in regards to giving advance notice to Michigan City about street closures and about that process, so that we make sure that NIPSCO is communicating clearly and concisely with Michigan City, and that we have ample time to not only notify the city of upcoming road closures, but to notify EMS, bus garages, and the public at large.
Ms. Thomas, this is Mayor Perry. You are a NiSource employee, is that correct?
Correct. I should clarify, I am a contractor that is working for NiSource for public affairs for this project in Michigan City.
Okay, I was hoping I could get a name and a telephone number from you, but to get all those old poles taken down, but I think I struck out on that.
Mayor, if you would, I will find a way to get your contact information, and I will be in touch. And I can't make any promises, being very new to the team here, but I will see what I can do about passing your requests along.
Thank you. That's very appreciated.
This is Nicole. I'll send both of you an email right now so that you have have each other's email information.
That would be great. Thank you very much, Nicole, for doing that for us.
Sure. The last thing I would add is obviously, there's going to need to be a lot of coordination as the double track project really starts in earnest this summer. Most of the really, changing of roadway conditions and things like that is going to start in July. And when we met with the city staff back in October, we kind of walked through every phase, what to expect in terms of road closures, and generally speaking, when they're going to occur. Now, you guys all know that we're not technically required to get a permit to close streets because of how we exist as a railroad entity, but we are going to be coming as a courtesy to the Board of Works to kind of give advance information about street closures ahead of time. And in fact, our contractors, ranging from our demolition contractor, which will be the first entity you'll see doing work here, they're not really going to be doing, I don't think, any road closures at all. They may have some select lane closures here and there, but they have to go to the Board of Works. I believe it's 10 days ahead of time minimum. Also, we think we're going to have a couple sidewalk closures, so we want you to be aware of some of those. But then when it gets to the main part of construction, where we start shutting down rolling portions of 11th Street or 10th Street, you'll have advance notice of about a few weeks in those cases. I show this, is it okay to share my screen for a moment? Let me see if I...
Sure.
Please feel free. I send an email periodically to a whole range of people I have on Michigan City's outreach list about what's happening. And we've created a page on our website. Here we go. Let me get this. Okay. This is our Double Track website. So if you go to doubletrack-com.
Hold on one second. Caleb, are you there?
Oop, hang on, share.
There we go.
There, it's not, that was my fault. But yeah, sure. So basically on our website, which is doubletrack-nwi.com, there's construction and next steps. So I've started adding even information about what NIPSCO is doing ahead of time, or Comcast or others, to the extent that I can, by geography. So you'll scroll down and you'll see here's what's happening upcoming in Michigan City. When it comes to really big things like road closures, we'll probably send out press releases, and we have a really large e-news list that we'll send information to intermittently. But I'll be sending emails, or someone on our team will be sending emails to the Michigan City contact list that I have, including police, fire, et cetera, as major things like that come up. We also have what we're calling track access occurrences. And that means that the contractor is going to have periods of time where we basically shut down all of our train service so they can do a ton of work on the right of way and then get out of the way. So we'll be busing during those events. And when that happens, we're requiring that the contractor actually, if there's a weekend closure relating to streets, that you guys get at least 21 days of notice for that. And then some of our track access occurrences are going to be longer, like they may be 45 days. Now, freight will still run during those, but there may be 45 days where we may actually not run trains and that we may be busing. Some of those are 9 days long, 16 days, 30 days, 45 days. I'm sorry, 30 days is the max. It's 45 days of notice you will get for any of those really long outages. So the longest one can be 30 days long. We limit how many times this can happen during construction in the contract. And then lastly, I will just say, we have 5 different construction contracts for double track. The big one is contract 1, and that's where you'll be mostly concerned. But that contractor has to turn in a maintenance of traffic plan that has to be reviewed by NICD, and then we'll submit it to Michigan City for review as well, and that would again include police and fire. And then contract 2 is the only other contract that impacts Michigan City. That's for the station building, retail, and garage structure. So we don't anticipate a lot of road closures, but maybe when they're putting some pieces of that building in place, there may be some interruption. So they'll definitely need to coordinate and have a maintenance of traffic plan. So that's a lot of information. And then NICD is keeping tabs on the utilities and when they're moving and trying to keep them posted, on this web page. So I would encourage everyone to bookmark this page. And you can just if you just Google double track Northwest Indiana, you'll find our project and you can bookmark it from there. And so we will continue to try to put the utility information here. Now, NIPSCO is so big, it's a little bit difficult. We have a weekly coordination meeting with them on this, and they're going to start helping me to build the content here so that you know what's coming. That was a lot of information. I'll pause there and see if anyone has any questions.
Ms. Barker?
Yes, Mayor.
Two quick questions, please. Earlier, you mentioned another lady's name very quickly. I didn't get it down. Brianna. Can you give me your last name and her involvement in the project?
Yeah, Brianna Evans. She is a project engineer for NICD, and she is serving as our main utility coordinator. And I will send you, basically any meeting that you ever get or any email that I send to you generally has her on it. But I can also send you her information.
Great, thank you. And the second question is, you just mentioned that there is a weekly NICD coordination meeting on this project. I think that a very large majority of the questions and complaints come in here to City Hall at our 873-1400 number. Mm-hmm. Is this weekly meeting, is this a virtual meeting?
It is, and we just our ad is right now it's mostly us and NIPSCO talking, but it'll get larger and there will turn into multiple meetings. This is every Tuesday morning. And then the plan is to add Michigan City when necessary to those meetings on Tuesdays so that you all can listen in as well to what's happening. Right now, it's really covering, there's probably half of it is Gary or Ogden Dunes, Portage. You guys are welcome to listen in and start absorbing information if you'd like.
I would like to do that if it's acceptable to you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, just if you would put me on the invite list.
Sure thing.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'll add Skylar as well.
That's great. Absolutely, thanks.
And then one more item, sorry to keep going, but we hired the firm WSP to serve as our construction management firm. And they're just getting up to speed now, but that'll be another entity that's helping with outreach and helping ensure everybody's aware of upcoming construction activities. So we'll have even more help here soon.
Great.
I have one question.
Thank you.
If I may.
Sure.
Councilman Przybylski.
Is Barker, I'm sorry, is it Barker or Baker?
Barker.
Barker, okay. Thank you. Did you make mention earlier that Schuyler was aware, our city planner was aware of what was going to take place on 8th Street?
That's correct. He's known that for a while, yes.
Is okay, that's correct. And so, in turn, are you, with your discussion, are you saying more or less that since you're a railroad entity with this project, that the city doesn't have to be notified on any of these poles being moved around and what it's doing to our downtown area? Or is it just concerning road work and road closures?
No, so sorry if that was confusing. So we don't have to get an official permit is the result of that. And I'm saying we as the railroad, not we as NIPSCO. I don't know what NIPSCO.
Oh, okay. Does that have to do with your general contractors that are working for you doing this work on 8th Street?
Those contractors actually work for NIPSCO,
to the
not
substation.
Yeah, that work is NIPSCO's contractors, not NICD's contractors.
Okay, so they don't, are they obligated to, I guess that's a technical question here.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Are they obligated to get a road closure and notify the city and to talk about what they're doing in the right of way, I guess, to make sure this stuff is, in the right of way?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Jackie, do you happen to know if NIPSCO is required to get those permits, or are they exempt for some reason? And of course, like we said, we're going to continue to coordinate with you to make sure you have the information regardless. But I don't know if you have an answer to that, or if you could send a follow-up. If not.
Yeah, I'll be happy to send a follow-up because I want to confirm, being new to the NIPSCO team, but I believe that work done in the utilities right away is not, but please do not hold me to that. And I do know if it's emergency work, which obviously I don't believe the work on 8th Street is emergent. I know emergent work is not subject to permitting, but beyond that, I will have to get, I'll have to get some confirmation from others on the team to be able to give you a definitive answer.
Okay, well, with a follow-up question to that, did they, on the right-of-way question, did they have those right-of-ways marked before they started their construction? And was that list given to the city engineer, at least?
I will have to confirm that. I've only been with the NIPSCO team for about 3 weeks, so marking and that happened prior to my arrival to the team. But I would be happy to follow up.
Okay. Well, in response to that question, could you send that email to the city engineer and myself at our emails? And also, for general information, that does happen every once in a while, that poles are put on people's property. And the reason I say that is I have one on my property that I'm trying to get removed. And so it does happen. And I think that where some of these big towers were placed in were very objectionable, because I think it really, really is an eyesore down right in the main square of our downtown area. With that said, I appreciate everybody's attention today, and I have to exit. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Przybylski. Thank you, Ms. Barker and Ms. Thomas, for your input on this. Councilman Don Przybylski.
Yeah, a question for the board. And I brought this up, I don't know, probably 3 months ago, maybe 3 months ago. And that's the ADA crossings and buttons and timers on the stop signs or crosswalks throughout the city. And I know we got started on Franklin Street. I just want to know where we stand with that project, because I believe we were going to do the whole city, correct? And if so, where do we stand on that project?
That is my understanding, and what I would ask is that I believe that the significant portion of it was completed because it was taken off of the pending items list. Have you been made aware of any particular area that is not functional?
That's not functional, but I know that we were supposed to do Franklin Street. I don't know if that's complete. Never notified about that. Michigan Boulevard, I don't know what they've done on Michigan Boulevard, but I know that that was supposed to be included in this because I know that Councilwoman Tillman had a concern about Michigan Boulevard, and plus all the other crosswalks that have ADA accessible devices to them were supposed to be checked out. So I'm just asking where we stand with that. Why it was taken off the pending list, I don't know. That's up to the board. But if the board is saying that it was completed, did they see paperwork to the fact that it was completed, or, who said that it was completed, and, how much work did they actually do? Did they go throughout the whole city, or did they just do Franklin Street? So I'd like to know that at the next meeting.
We will reach out to Mr. Wright, who is very regularly at our meetings. Again, this is one meeting where he was unable to be here because of a prior obligation. I will reach out to him and ask him for a complete rundown on that issue, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Przybylski. All right, do we have any other members of the public that would like to make a comment at this time?
This is Tommy Kolovic from 1316 Ohio Street again. I got something I gotta complain about. Mom bought another house on Elston Street, and the large trash receptacles were damaged. The handle's busted off, the lid's fallen off, and I called the refuse department. They don't have any more. They've had the big receptacles now for about 15 years. They've had to replace so many of them. They don't have any more to give out. All they got is the small ones. We need big ones. We have a lot of litter in the city. Maybe perhaps.
Are you still there, Tommy? Okay, I think we have lost Tommy. Tommy, thank you for that input. We will definitely look into that. Any other members of the public? Chief Legault, did I see you raising your hand?
Yes, sir, Mr. President. Yep. I'll try to keep it short and sweet. I just want to reiterate that we do need to know about street closures, ahead of time, obviously, for our calls. Even if it's just a 15-minute closure, if we could have prior notice. Because what we do is we have the capability, we just send it out immediately to all fire department personnel so that everybody's aware of it. So even if it's just a short closure, if we could have that information, that'd be great. And then I remember heard the lady speaking of, an advance notice, but if there's any way we could get like a 24-hour reminder, that would be great for us because we work 24-hour shifts, and that way we can make sure that the oncoming shift knows about any closures. It's very difficult to turn a fire truck around. And, we're trying to get there as soon as possible, as safely as possible. So seconds do count. So if there's anything that we can do to improve this, let us know, but we need to know ahead of time about street closures. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief Legault. All right, any other members of the public?
This is Tommy Kolovic from 1316 Ohio Street again. they got the I-94 400 North Bridge closed. I had to detour down Paz Road. Paz Road is in maybe a question I have is, can we get some federal dollars to repair Paz Road and get it the whole stretch between the Cleveland Avenue extension and Johnson Road is really bad. We have a U.S. Army Reserve base there. Maybe they can help us out. That's where Michigan City High School and the Marquette Athletic Complex is. I think it's really makes a really bad impression. We have to host other schools for our events. It's a little bit of embarrassing for both the city and the school system when they have to drive in on all these roads that are in such bad shape. The other thing, Mr. Frame's on here, I want to get something off my chest. There are 3 plaques, and it's the property I've had conversations with previous administrations. They can't do nothing about it. The city can't do nothing about it because it's all controlled by the authority, the Port Authority. There's a plaque on the bathhouse at Washington Park, a plaque at Millennium Plaza, and on the entrance door, the Port Authority building. It's got John Rubinstead's name on it. We all know who John Rubinstead is. He's somebody who does not deserve to be honored or recognized for anything. I'd like to have those removed. His name's stricken. They also have his name on a plaque at Pioneer Land at the Fort Thomas Playground. His name needs to be removed from history. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for your input, Tommy. Okay, any other members of the public?
Yeah, it's me, Cranston. I
Cranston.
think the street department. I think the street department should be notified about street closures too, because like tonight we're supposed to have some snow, and if we don't know it, if the street closes, and we don't know how to actually plow the snow like we want to.
Correct.
So it'd be nice if they let the street director know, if it's going to be temporary or what. So we get that. Plus, we're on cleanup, and if we got to run into that, then it takes even more time.
Right. Thank you, Cranston.
You're welcome.
All right. Any other members of the public? Okay. Public comment. We will close. Board comment. Ms. Keating, ladies first. Anything?
No, I do not.
No. Mayor?
Nothing here, Mr. President.
Okay. In regards to comments that have been made regarding street closures, I believe that what is important is that we do maintain and demand communication from all of the entities involved, be it NIPSCO, be it NICD, be it Comcast. I understand that there are times where it is easier than others to go through the proper chain to request street closures through the Board of Public Works. But we do need to make sure that there is communication. As Chief Legault said, and as Cranston said, our residents depend on making sure that our fire trucks can get to where they need to get, our police vehicles can get to where they need to get, our maintenance vehicles. Again, I think Cranston hit it on the head in terms of, I can't believe that it's April 19th and we're looking at a snowstorm tomorrow. But we as a community need to make sure that we know in advance, well in advance, when these closures are going to occur. And we need to be able to get that information out to the public as early as we can with as much notice as we possibly can. And we have to do that for our constituency. And I demand that be a priority when we're dealing. We're entering a very long phase right now, and we're early on in the process. It feels like there has been a lack of communication. There have been streets closed that we didn't know were going to be closed, and we have to make sure that that is taken care of going forward. So basically, we need to make sure that everybody is on board and everybody understands that there are procedures that we need to do. Even if they can't come in before the board, we need to reach out to them and let them know what the proper procedure is. And we also need to make contacts with these various entities so that if there is a situation where a road is closed, we have basically immediate access to an individual that can give us information regarding why this road is closed and why we were not informed. So I completely, wholeheartedly agree that the communication over the last week or so has led to a lot of calls at City Hall. And at City Hall, we didn't have a lot of answers in regards to why those roads were closed. I want to make sure that we are able to know answers and be able to give that information not only to the services through the city, but also out to the citizens so that they can plan their routes and safety. Okay, with any, President? Yes, Mayor.
With that, may I respond at that?
Sure.
It's going to be my number one priority here, beginning immediately after I get off after this meeting is over. I'm very concerned about this because like it was said, we're just in the infancy of this project. And if we don't have communication, a good link of communication established now, we may miss the boat, and that's not going to happen.
I agree. Thank you, Mayor Perry, for taking the initiative on spearheading that. And again, it's just communication is going to be key over the next 3 to 4 years as we enter this endeavor. Okay, with that, I have no further comments. Ms. Keating, Mayor Perry have no further comments. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and support. All in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Everybody, thank you very much. Lengthy meeting today, but I do hope that it was productive. Everybody, we will see you in 2 weeks. Have a great week.
Valuable, Mr. President, valuable.
Thank you. Take care.
Everyone have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.